Hello everyone. Today we are going to study the cardinal utility approach, another way of finding out how do we calculate utility. In the introduction of this particular concept, let me introduce you with the concept of utility. Utility is the power or the capacity of the commodity to satisfy human wants. So, therefore, we can say it's the want satisfying power. But can we actually measure it? Can we actually see how much satisfied I am? That's the whole concept we are going to study in this particular unit. What are the features of utility? It is subjective in nature. That means it deals with the mental level of satisfaction. It is relative in nature. It does not remain constant. Either it increases or decreases. And it is not essentially useful. That means I can be dissatisfied also. Therefore, it is important to see if I can measure my dissatisfaction also or not. When I say utility, I am actually talking about two major terms. One is total utility, that means how much in totality I am getting satisfaction, and what is the marginal rate, that is the marginal or the additional utility or satisfaction which I'm getting. When I say I have to calculate the total utility, it is the total amount, that is submission of all the units which I'm consuming. But when I say marginal, it is the additional amount. That means TU of one unit minus TU of the previous unit, present minus the past, and the addition in the consumption, and that addition will lead to me the additional utility. That's how we measure the marginal utility. What is the relationship between TU and MU, that is total utility and marginal utility? When I say my total utility is increasing, after consuming first unit, I'm getting 40 units as my total utility. So marginal utility is also 40 because there was no previous consumption. After consuming second unit, my total utility has increased to 85. So my marginal utility would be 85 minus 40, that is only 45. That means after consuming the second additional unit, the extra utility which I've got is just 45. And when I see my total utility, it is increasing, reaches to the maximum of 160 and started to fall down. In the same manner, my marginal utility was also like 40 to 45 increased, but then it went on decreasing, reaches to the zero. That means zero when my total utility was maximum, but then started to decline or went into the negative zone because my total utility was declining. That means I was getting dissatisfaction instead of satisfaction. And that's how my graph will look like. When you will plot these numbers onto the graph, my total utility graph will be a curve which is increasing, reaches its maximum and starts to fall down but remains above the x-axis. But when I see my marginal utility curve, it increases, reaches to the maximum, starts to fall down and touches the x-axis. That means marginal utility 0, coming to the negative zone as well. That means it is negative. Again, the same thing. One is total utility, another is marginal utility. When I say how do we approach the utility, or how the utility approaches can be, seen, it is something like this, that is cardinal utility approach and ordinal utility approach. Cardinal says yes, we can measure the utility in terms of utils, whereas ordinal says we cannot measure the utility because naturally it is a mental concept. So we usually give ranks. In cardinal approach, we measure the utility by way of law of diminishing marginal utility because I know how much my utility is increasing or diminishing. Whereas in cardinal approach, we use curves to tell how much I am satisfied or how much I am dissatisfied. When we say the limitations, it is uh, utility cannot be measured cardinally. Of course, we know it is a mental concept and we cannot measure it. Single commodity model is unrealistic because at a time I'm just talking about one commodity, which is unrealistic because usually I consume in combinations. Money is an imperfect measure of utility. I cannot measure the utility in terms of money because when I say I wear diamonds, it is the most costliest stone which a human can wear, but then it does not give me any utility after wearing it. It's just that mentally I'm just getting satisfied that yes, I'm wearing diamonds. So basically, we cannot say that money is the perfect measure of utility. Marginal utility of money is not constant at all. Nobody wants money to fall. And I always want more and more money. So my utility from money will never go to its maximum or will never fall. And hence, money's utility will never be constant. Man is not rational. Man is not rational means I cannot always consume more and more, or I cannot say no to money, I cannot say no to diamonds. So this is like irrationality. Of course, I can say no to medicines, I can say no to food when my starve is over, I can say no to water when I'm not hungry, but for certain commodities I can never say no. That's why we say that man is not always rational. Coming back to the more limitations, consumer is not of calculative mind. I cannot say that, my utility has reached to its maximum, so I should not consume more because I cannot keep on calculating how much utility I'm getting out of this consumption. Utility analysis does not study income effect, substitution effect, and price effect. I cannot say that I will not consume more because the price has increased. If I need, I will consume more. I cannot say that I will not consume more because my income has fallen off. I will not say, you know. And I cannot say that I will stop consuming tea because its substitution, that is coffee, is available in the market. So that's how we cannot measure these things into the cardinal approach. Utility analysis fails to clarify the study of inferior goods. The assumption that the consumer buys more of a unit of a commodity when its price falls is unrealistic, because if I have to show off my status, I will buy more of diamonds even if its price is increasing. So this assumption will not be taken care of when you measure the concepts in money terms. This analysis fails to explain the demand for the indivisible goods. I cannot measure the indivisible goods when it comes to utility measurement. When I cannot divide the goods, I cannot measure its utility. So this was all about cardinal utility approach. Because of these limitations, it takes it to a next unit which says how we can, without measuring in the utils, we can see how much satisfied a customer gets after consuming the things. That was all from my side.